you know how this works. They're not going to come out and be like, yeah, well, Kevin Patullo sucks, so now all our jobs are harder.
No.
He's going to say, we got to execute. In other words, the play's there. Jalen ain't making the play.
Without further ado, one of our friends, Marc Farzetta, joins us now. How you doing, Farzy?
Well, first off, there's Sills. As you and I both know, there is no mafia. Thank you.
Hey, you bet. I've never heard of it. No
the term
way.
mafia is a slur, sir. Thank you. And, you know, I'm happy to also pass along the bald points of view and perspective that Rick Tocchet once passed on to me as a fellow bald man, and I'm happy to pass that on to Xander. So, you know, it's Baldies helping Baldies. Baldies for Baldies is my charity. Like and subscribe. So, you know, we can all have ourselves a good time. I don't know if that's an actual charity or not. Don't look that up. It could be something totally different. But yeah, I was actually just thinking, it was so funny that you texted me that picture of the book Ray sent you, because I was just watching the 1960. I swear to you, I was just watching the 1960 championship game. And it just came up in my algorithm, and there was like a 20-minute highlight video, whatever.
My uncle's in
and I'm
that
like,
game.
oh, I didn't know that. Whoa, how did I miss this one? Wait, who?
Robistelli.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm watching it, and I couldn't help but, for some stupid reason, Sills, there was a split second. There's a split second watching the plays unfold where I was like, damn it, Van Brocklin, how do you throw that pass? Like, I was like doing things, I swear. There was like a split second of it where I'm just watching it, and it's colorized. And I'm like, you idiot, this game was in 1960. You were born for another 22 years. Relax. Like that kind of thing. So anyway.
Only a Philadelphian could have that kind of passion about a game that was in 1960 here.
Find Tommy McDonald across the middle, damn it. Like that's what I'm thinking.
I do have to dispute something here, and I do question you on one thing, my friend. Are you a real bald guy? Now, are you a real bald guy or not? I mean, you know what I mean? Is it do you have like the cap? I mean,
I got a little bit of it. If you could see.
I do here. So I like the fact you went all chrome dome. So I do dig that, but are you a real bald guy?
Stay out of my personal life. How about that? No, no, I am as real as it comes. And here's what determines a real bald guy. So I'm glad you asked this question. I hope we have 30 minutes on this topic. When you go bald as a young man, okay, there's a period of time where most guys fight the good fight.
Are you listening, Dave?
Yeah, you fight the good fight, okay? Now, I had a comb forward spiky thing going on from high school into college, out of college, and all that. So I wouldn't really notice that much of the power alleys going back, as I like to say. But I remember I was pushing my hair all the way back once, and I noticed a little triangle of missing hair when I was like 17 years old, like a little tiny speck of missing hair. And I went, oh, and I have an older brother. He was going bald. So I'm like, it's just a matter of time, man. So I fought the good fight for a number of years. I'll go ahead and say it. There might have been a slight comb forward flappy thing for a little while. And then once for the kids at home, debating this is very important. Once you lose this little power strip, okay, it's gone. It's over. Just get out the clippers, buzz it back, and then go right to the Bic. Don't think you're not going to fool anybody into thinking, oh, I just went with a buzzed cut now. That's a real bald man. The person that's 17 that realizes they're going bald like I was and then just shaves their head immediately, that's a coward. That person quit too early, okay? You got to fight the good fight. You never know what follicles are going to be faithful or not, so you got to stick with it. That's my advice.
All right. Now we go into football here.
No, wait, hold on. 10 more minutes on that. No, just kidding.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
Well, speaking of sticking with it here, all right. Are we going to see this running game against the Giants? Is this going to be the game where the reemergence of Barkley and all of a sudden the run game, this is it? This football game Sunday, is this going to be the turnaround where we see the Barkley game?
No, not a chance.
You see,
it's very simple. And this was my concern through the first 7 games of the season, going into the 7th game, I should say. I had confidence that Kevin Patullo would get a little better at his job. I would have confidence that Jalen Hurts would make him look a little bit better at his job. I had confidence that sooner or later, guys like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown that have played together would be like, oh, look, the same page. Let's all get on it, okay? But you know what's not going to happen? The run game get better all of a sudden because your offensive line is not good at run blocking all of a sudden. And the reason I believe that is because they're not healthy. So let's acknowledge that. That is a real concern. It's not an excuse by any means. They're out there, play at a high level. That's the bar that's been set. So I don't think this is anything that gets corrected pre bye week. So obviously you got one game, then you got the bye week, and then you're right out of the gate Monday night for a little bit, even extended bye week in Green Bay against the Packers. For me, it's not going to happen just like that. They need these guys to get healthy, and they're going the opposite direction. They got to bring back Sileo Eagles, who's a on-again, off-again member of the Philadelphia Eagles for the last 7 years or so. This offensive line is not getting healthier. They need the offensive line. It's a weird thing, Stills, and you've got more experience than I do, certainly in this regard. When it comes to the playing in the trenches, you know a thing or two about that. The offensive line isn't all of a sudden getting healthy, and at the same time, I've never seen an offensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line right now that can hold a pass block for 4 seconds, but can't do the thud and done. They can't. I don't know if they don't know their assignments. I don't know if they're like what Jordan Mailata said a week ago, where they're not focused. I don't know what it is, but it's the weirdest thing. This offensive line has no chemistry, and it's the weirdest thing, Sills, to look at an offense that has Saquon Barkley as the running back and Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, and they're not even averaging 90 yards a game on the ground. How the hell is that possible?
You tell me then, how about this one? Do you think the 460-plus carries and the tush-push played more of the factor on the O-line than it did Saquon Barkley? Because even the guy in Los Angeles right now, Becton, he's injured. You've got Landon injured. You've got Cam injured. You got more of a finesse guy at the right guard position than you did a power guy in Becton playing the right side there. I mean, don't you think this could be cumulative over the last 3-4 years with the tush push? Let's think about this too, Farzy. The last 3 years or 4 years now, you had Miles Sanders, Pro Bowler, DeAndre Swift, Pro Bowler, Saquon Barkley, Pro Bowler. You were dominant running attack. Don't you think after all those years going deep into the playoffs too, the games have played a factor in wearing down the offensive line? Because they look tired and beat up right now.
Yeah, it's at that and age. I mean, the only thing I look right. The only thing I would say about the tush push, and that is very interesting. I didn't realize that about Mekhi Becton, but you're right. Now that I think of it, maybe it is part of the wear and tear. The thing I would say if we were putting on trial, I would say, well, Jason Kelce ran it for all those years, and I know he's retired, but he was also up there in years when he was running it for 4 seasons, and he was at the bottom of that pile many, many times. But it very well could. And then you also factor in, as you said, I believe it was 482 total touches from last year's regular season to last year's postseason that Saquon Barkley touched the ball. Touches, not carries, touches, postseason included. So nobody was going to tell me that wasn't going to be a factor going into this year. So it could very well be fallout from the tush push and how many times they've run it. But you can also look at a game where I want to – one of these games this season, I think it was the Broncos game. They did not run the tush push once. And they still had trouble running the football in that game. Not that it's going to be cured in 1 week, but still just one play or one particular week they didn't run the tush push. So here's my remedy for the running game. You got to try it sometime still. You can't just not run the ball. You
can't abandon it.
But you got to get Saquon Barkley involved. One of the things that always drove me crazy about the Andy Reid era and some of the Chip Kelly era was the dominant pass and never running, or giving up on the run game, saying it was going to be a thing, and then you run twice, you get 2 yards, and then you quit on it the rest of the game. But the thing that I want to see is, and Andy Reid brings this up all the time, and a little Chip Kelly, I'm willing to accept the idea of a short pass, a screen pass, a wheel route, something. I am willing to accept for the first time in my life as a football fan and media member that a short pass will be like a run, that a check down to Saquon Barkley will be like a run. I've always hated it, but it struggled so much. You can't trust the offensive line, but you still got to get the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley. He proved in that 47-yard reception from Jalen Hurts in the Broncos game that he can still run, that he can still get out there in space. He's had some success, still hasn't had a 20-yard run yet, which is crazy. But you still got to put the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley, just like people were talking about A.J. Brown and whether or not he's getting the targets or whatever. Yeah, I'm fine with him getting targets. I'm fine with him giving the football. He's a pretty talented football player. I feel the same way about Saquon. If you're not going to do it in the run game and you're not going to squeeze the defense in with the run game, do it in another way. Bring back the good old-fashioned screenplay. Get creative here. How about that? Little bunch formation. Chip trips right. Saquon's behind A.J. Brown, and maybe Dallas got it on the outside. Saquon gets it. He's got his blockers right there in front of him. Let's party. Got to get a little bit more creative to get the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley because, unfortunately, I don't think the old standard run game is going to do it.
How about this one here? Do you believe that A.J. Brown is a leader or cancer in the locker room right now?
I don't think he's a cancer. I don't think he's I don't think there's any refuting. He's a distraction. We'd be talking a hell of a lot more about the
quarterback is now addressing it in press conferences now. Hey, by the way, guys, I was prepped. I was like, whoa.
That was great. Hold it, Sills. That was great. That was
a great answer.
I was like, oh, Jaylen, that was for a guy that just likes to read from, bedtime storybooks. That was such a great line. I love it. He's like, yeah, they prepped me. Yeah, I see it. But he didn't say I keep the main thing. I actually wrote it down. I think he says he focused on the connective, I forget what he said, but it wasn't the main thing. Cumulative. That's what he felt. Yeah. So I love that. But look, you can't.
That was above my Miami education here.
Oh yeah, that was
what that is. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever my SAT score was, I don't remember. But I forgot that quickly. But when it comes to AJ, I'm a big fan of AJ Brown, but there's no denying that this has become and it is a distraction. And if it's not to the team, I think it's at least distracting people from the biggest problem the Eagles have, which is their offensive line in the run game. So instead of us wasting time on that, a lot of people are being distracted by, and this includes fans and media, distracted by the smoke and mirrors of A.J. Brown. I will say, though, just directly at A.J. Brown, on a week where you have over 100 yards for only the second time this season, on a week where you have 2 touchdown receptions in the same game, and a week where you have snapped a 2-game losing streak, and a week where you've had everybody in the offense in the passing game look like they're on the same page, is now really the time to be ambiguous about your usage in this offense? No. So I don't know what his game is. At this point, it's annoying, and I'm looking at it like this. You're coming off a win. You're coming off a great game, especially in the passing game. You're going to need these receivers as the run game ain't there. I'm going to roll my eyes at it. Originally, when I heard it, I was pissed and annoyed. I'm going to roll my eyes at it and say, okay, go out there and catch another 2 touchdown passes on Sunday against the Giants. If he plays with this hamstring injury. So
right. Yeah, no. I'm not buying the hamstring. I think it's more of a mental day there. And I'll ask you on this, and I'll follow up on this one here. Do you think he's putting his personal accomplishments where his personal goals ahead of team goals, where you got to remember something here. Here's a guy right now, you're getting 27-28. He's 141st right now on the list when it comes to, yardage for a receiver. Tonight, Justin Jefferson needs 40 yards to go over 8,000 yards, and the fastest in the history. That guy's going to Canton.
Yes.
He's going to Canton, Ohio. Do you think he's worried about legacy and he's looking on all of that right now? Or is he one of these guys? Farzy, some people, I'm going to use a line out of Batman. Some guys like to see the world burn. I mean, which means they're never happy. You got $36 million. You got a Super Bowl ring. You're on one of the top teams in the NFL. And really, if that doesn't make you happy, there's really not a lot of things that are going to make you happy in the world. So maybe he's all of that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
You think he's putting those personal goals ahead of everything here?
It'd be hard to think he wasn't. The interesting thing with A.J. Brown, though, is, and here's where I'll really draw a thin line between divas and drama queens. Drama queens just always want to stir the pot. All right. Is it still making it about them? Yeah, it's making it about them. Divas, 100% always about them all the time. I don't think AJ is a diva. Like, I don't think everything he does is all about him and what he does. I do think there's a team aspect to him that I think puts him more on the drama queen side. Like, you'll deal with the drama queen, but somebody who's just a diva, it's like, oh, get out of here. Like that kind of thing. That's the way I look at it. Like, to me, T.O., diva, AJ Brown, drama queen. So that's how I look at it. I know, again, I shouldn't say this as a bald man, but splitting hairs, I realize, but that's kind of how I characterize it. I believed him a couple of years ago when he had that little tangent on the sideline and everyone thought it was about him not getting targeted. He came out and said it wasn't about getting targets. Then last year, 2 years ago, when he iced out the media, he came back and said, why does everyone always think I'm about targets? I'm not about targets. You know who's about targets more than me? Smitty. But just that you guys don't draw on him, you know? So I don't think everything he's doing is only self-motivated. But I will say this. I think if ever in his career he was to be selfish, it would be this year. I'm not saying blanket statement, he's a selfish player, all about me and all that. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if he was ever to have a motivation to be more about him, this would be the year. And you know who told me that? A.J. Brown. He told all of us that when he talked to the NFL Network in training camp, and they said, okay, so you won a Super Bowl. You've had 1,000-yard seasons. You're probably going to have another one. Ha, ha, ha. You know, what's left for you? And he was like, thinking about my legacy.
Yeah.
And when guys are saying when guys are saying they're thinking about their legacy, they're thinking about old number one. They're thinking about themselves. And I don't fault them. If I was in their situation, I'd have a little tweak of that as well, a little twinge of that as well. But I don't think it's to the point with him where it's like me or nobody. I think part of it fuels him to be the best he could possibly be, which if he's doing that, then he's helping the team. But I also don't think it's all about him and his targets. I think it's about Jalen finding guys when they're open. I think that's more what it's about. And it's not just about that helping AJ. It's also him helping Dallas Goedert, him helping Devontae Smith. It's just that everything AJ says gets put in a light that it's all about him, when in reality, I think he is not only speaking for himself, but also speaking for Jalen Hurts and speaking for Devontae Smith and speaking for Dallas Goedert and maybe even Saquon Barkley. And that's why, I'll just say this real quick. That's why I find it so interesting that nobody, other than Lane Johnson and the predictability, nobody's really even hinting. And you know how this works, Sills. You know how this works. They're not going to come out and be like, yeah, well, Kevin Patullo sucks, so now all our jobs are harder.
No.
He's going to say, we got to execute. In other words, the play's there. Jalen ain't making the play. Jalen ain't making the play for me. He's not making it for Smitty or anybody else. So that part of it I find interesting, where when I think when he speaks up and he's a little bit more specific, not just a random, social media post, I think it's not just about him. It's about the other guys that should be targeted as well.
I got a couple more here for you, man. This is great stuff here, Farzy. I think the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown has come to this point. Prior to Barkley getting there, the offense went through A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown sees the game, he wants the game plan to go through him, not Saquon Barkley. He had that crap going on when he was in Tennessee. Now he's got that again. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, he's got to see the game through the quarterback's lenses. What's best for the team? How do we win? When he's centric, he's going to see, I need my touches. I want us to win this way. The quarterback, Keith Byers was on the other day, and he goes like this. Quarterback's got to be an asshole sometimes in the locker room.
Yes.
He's got to go like this. Hey, dude, I'm doing what's in the best interest of the unit. You're doing what's in the best interest of you. I've got to be the bad guy in the building. Use a Tony Montana reference. I'm the bad guy now. So, do you think that's what's fractured that relationship a little bit, is that Jalen sees the game through the team's concept. He sees it through his own concept. And that may be the rub here and why these guys aren't connected on the same page.
It's interesting. I'm not going to name names here, but I will say you're the second person to propose that theory to me. And I think it's a very valid theory. And in essence, what you're saying is, the conversation when Donovan and T.O. were together was that Donovan didn't like that T.O. was getting all the love, and he was just all of a sudden in the sidecar. one of the things I've admired about Jalen is he just went, oh, Saquon behind this offensive line last year. Where's the sidecar? Let me get in. And he got in.
Right.
And it was, I'll even hold the map. I'll hold your coffee. Let's go. If you need me to drive, I'll drive. Super Bowl.
Right.
But AJ is the one that I think does look at it and go, damn, before Saquon was here, I was the most talented weapon on this team. And now he's seeing an offensive line struggle. I mean, look, if we're seeing it, he's seeing it.
Of course.
And now you mean to tell me I'm not going to get the football now? You're still going to square peg, round hole this? Seriously? Give me the ball, man. So I think a lot of that goes into it for A.J. Brown as well. I absolutely think that theory is dead on, that there's a little of, I mean, jealousy might be over the top, but a little of that maybe, where he's not getting the shine he once did in this Eagles offense. But I do think in this season, even after the bye week, the receivers are going to have to be the star of the show going forward.
That's right.
So he might get that shine.
With Green Bay and Detroit coming up. All right.
Yeah.
What do you make of Jaylen Carter? No sacks so far.
Well, it would help if he played in more games and, didn't get thrown out of one or, miss one against the Giants. That'd be great. But I'm at the point now with Jaylen Carter where I think he is still a phenomenally talented guy. He's still your highest rated defensive lineman in terms of win rate. No Eagles edge rusher is ranked in the top 20 even. He's in the top 6 in terms of interior defensive linemen. But yeah, get after it. He's got to get sacks. The way this defense has been built and the system, the scheme and all that, he's got to be a guy to get sacks. If you don't have Nolan Smith, if Zadarius Smith is looking around and going, yeah, no, I'm done, and he's out, and now Brandon Graham comes back, they're looking at you, Jalen Carter. You still got to be the anchor of this defensive line, and it's not just about taking up double teams. It's not just about, all the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet, so to speak. It's like, no, the hit on Carson Wentz to help force that pick six to Jalen Hunt, that was great. But we also need to see you finish plays. One of the things Vic Fangio always talks about, whether you're a corner or you're a defensive lineman, anybody, you got to finish the play. It's great to get there. You could be unblocked. If you got there and didn't make the tackle, make the sack, then it's all for naught. If you're a cornerback and you allow the catch, fine. Finish the play, make the tackle. If you don't, i.e. Keely Ringo in the preseason, for instance, or Keely Ringo at any point for that matter, you got to finish the play. You got to make the tackle. So Jalen Carter's got to finish the play. I know that our offenses are scheming against him. The coaches are thinking about where he's at. Find a way to fight through that and be able to finish the play. And if he's not doing it, other guys got to do it. You can't have one active edge rusher on this roster have only one sack. That's bonkers. So it's not just him getting the sack necessarily. It's the guys around him also finishing the play.
Couple last ones here for you. I got to throw this at you here, and this is going to be a tough conversation. I had it with Xander, and I can't wait to hear your take on it. Now, listen, nobody's hoping for anything here, but dude, and Xander kind of gave me the topic here a little bit. In the next 3 years, you see Landon Dickerson on this football team?
Oof. I do. I do see him on this football team. Look, you don't
not because he's not good. That's not where I'm at.
So I interviewed Landon right after he was drafted, and he had an interesting approach to his injuries. And I guess if you're a player like him, you want this to be your mindset. And he was like, I like to look at it as in college, I got my injuries out of the way. And you don't need to be a doctor to realize
pre-disasterized he took it.
Exactly. And you know what? Whatever helps you mentally get over the injury, which is, is the, second most important thing. Once you recover health-wise, you got to mentally get over it. So that was his approach to doing it. And I thought, hey, good for this guy, right approach. But now we're looking at more injuries. Now we're looking at more problems. Now we're looking at more issues with him where, yeah, that's great. He fought through it last year to play in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's great. He fought through it in the training camp and preseason to go through another surgery and come back and play, not at a high level, but he played. I admire that warrior aspect. I admire that warrior aspect in Cam Jurgens as well. But it's all for naught if you're not playing at a high level. I think everyone realizes the type of mentality and the tough guy approach that these guys took. And in a city like Philadelphia especially, we're going to admire the hell out of that. But if you don't play well and this offensive line plays well below the standard we've so enjoyed over the last, Stoutland era in Philadelphia, even before that, ever since John Runyon was signed by Andy Reid, we've admired the offensive line in a very, very big way. But if you can't play to that level and that standard, you got to sit out. Look, I want him to be healthy right away. I want him to play, but I think it's in his best interest, the team's best interest, to find somebody else to play left guard and be able to play this season, let Landon recoup, and get back after it next year.
I have to end it with this one here. I mean, the conversation we have to go here now is with Brandon Graham. I mean, there's a couple ways I looked at it, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. I go, this is an admittance by Howie Roseman that all those Timu signings with the Uches and the Ojalaris and whomever, that you had the guy in the building in March. He didn't want to quit. You forced him into retirement. The guy made it very clear almost that he didn't want – I mean, this wasn't my idea. This was kind of their idea to force you into retirement, to get you out of the building. Now you're walking back, or I should say crawling back, to a 37-year-old edge rusher. I mean, 15 reps? I mean, Farzy, tell me I'm wrong here, man. He don't make you better. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, okay? But here,
yeah.
You think he makes you better?
Look, if you're asking to make this team better, that's a low bar. That's a very low bar. That's
at that position, yes.
Yeah. Like I got asked a question on our local Fox 29 the other day about, are the Eagles desperate? I was like, hell yeah, they're desperate. Are you kidding me? Like they brought a guy who was semi-retired, and Zadarius Smith in, and he was just like, yeah, no thanks, and he was out. You also had Nolan Smith go down when you were expecting him to take over for Brandon Graham, maybe even take over for Josh Sweat. That obviously hasn't worked, also because of injuries. You rolled the dice on Uche, who had one good year in the NFL. You rolled the dice on Azeez Ojulari, who's had an injury-riddled career, unfortunately, but put up numbers when he's been healthy. It's just that never happens. And now he couldn't even be activated for the first, 4 weeks of the season? So what are we doing here? What code are we trying to crack? This is pretty easy. And like I said earlier, it's a low bar. Here's what I like. Brandon Graham excelled in this scheme as a 36-year-old under Vic Fangio for whatever reason. He took to it well. He played in that role well. He played 45% of the snaps. If I could get like 25 from Brandon Graham in that regard, where he's either going after the quarterback or he's just out there trying to be the old predator position, whatever it might be, then go out there and do that. It's a very low bar to try to jump over right now for the Eagles. So it certainly doesn't make you worse. It makes you, I do think, a little bit better. But what I've stressed to people is that it makes you better, but in no way, shape, or form is Brandon Graham going to be a savior of this defense. No way is that going to be how he's going to be looked at after this year. And also, I'll say this. Look, not even just from a nostalgia point of view, but just I want the team to be as good as they can be. Having Brandon Graham back is great. Hearing Jordan Mailata talk about how Brandon Graham was calling him fat during pre-practice stretches. It's like, that's got to be, I don't know, like when you hear your favorite Christmas carol for the first time of the season, like, okay. Like, it feels like we're back a little bit.
Well, speaking of fat, what about Jabba the Hutt there on the floor for the Sixers? I mean, bro, what's up with this guy? I mean, hey, you know what? Daryl Morey, I don't want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, but okay, I saw something in the backcourt here with what they did last night, but dude, what's up with Embiid, man? Holy cow. I mean,
you threw me. Okay.
He couldn't jump over a stack of quarters right now.
Yeah. So, okay. So the fat line threw me off a little bit. He's lost a lot of weight. Like, that's, I've looked at him through scrimmage and whatever. He's lost weight. Now the problem is he's playing on one knee. But 20 minutes last night, I'm not optimistic about the rest of Joel Embiid's career. I don't think he is fully cooked as an NBA player. I think he is absolutely cooked as an as an MVP.
So he's not a Greg Oden right now. We're not.
He's not a Greg Oden. No, I don't think he's a Greg Oden just yet. And he better not be. There's 373 million, something like that, left over the next 4 years for him. So here's what I'm hoping. First off, I agree with you. The backcourt looked phenomenal. You can't say anything. 40 points from Maxey, 34 points from VJ Edgecombe. VJ Edgecombe's jumping out of the gym. It was fantastic. But Edgecombe said something after the game where he said, yeah, wait till we get Joe back and he's 100%. When Joe's 100% ready to go, it's going to look a little different. And I remember thinking, I hope not that different, because Joel Embiid Like, those athletes that just at like 32, 33, they go, oh, this is how I should do this. And then they find a way to coast for like another 7 years. The most perfect example, and it's so rare because it's a pitcher in baseball, but Jamie Moyer at like 33 years old, he was like, wait a minute, if I just throw 85, hit my spot, I'm great. Like, Joel Embiid needs to find his inner Jamie Moyer. And if he just stands at the elbow, stands at the top of the key, stands at the foul line, and plays taking little bunny shots, distributor, facilitator. You can, like, I truly believe Joel Embiid could be like a 20, 10, and 10 guy. And with the assists, and look, that's going to be easy when you're kicking it out to Maxey hitting a three, or Edgecombe, who actually did it last night, or Kelly Oubre or Quentin Grimes, who shot 41% last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's not far-fetched for Joel Embiid to be in that range of a near triple-double a night type of guy. But not 40 points a night, for damn sure.
269 wins for Jamie Moyer.
Wait, 269 is what
you would know. He's got more wins. He's got more wins than Pedro Martinez.
269 is what he finished at?
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, 269 wins and 209 losses. He's got more wins than Koufax.
Wait, so do you have it right in front of you? Are you looking at it right now?
He's got more wins than
Rockies.
Than Schilling.
Was his last season with the Rockies?
Yes.
I think his last season was the Rockies.
Yeah,
that was. I don't really get deterred by that about people wearing the weird jersey at the end of their career, but that one definitely was like, that's weird.
Dude, he won a boatload of games in Philly.
Yes, he did. I remember
14 and 12, 16 and 7, 12 and 10. I mean, the guy was 45, 44, 47 years old when he was in Philly. This guy was winning 16 games at 45.
His complete game shutout against the Braves.
Yeah.
I was rather intoxicated that night. I had just started dating my wife, and I remember being like, holy hell, that's Jamie Moyer. Or I was like, Jamie Moyer's going to throw a complete game shutout at like 110 years old. And she was like, who? I was like, don't worry about it.
You're right, man. I mean, this guy's got more complete games than Clayton Kershaw. Jamie Moyer, You're right. You're talking about the ultimate guy who hung in there. I remember him more so two places. I remember him in Texas, I think, and I remember him in Philly, and I remember him in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, Seattle definitely. I remember him in Baltimore just because my mom's from Baltimore, and I remember seeing him pitch for the Orioles at Camden Yards and being like, and then when he went out to Seattle, I was like, that Jamie Moyer guy really just turned it on? Was like a Cy Young candidate? What? That kind of thing.
Yeah, no. Dude, he was an all-star one time in 25 years. I mean, your ultimate comp there, man. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, finish. Do they win Sunday against the Gigantes?
Los Gigantes on Telemundo. Yes, they win Sunday.
I don't think. Are you more confident now than you were in the first one?
Yeah, because like anybody can lay an egg, and that was certainly an egg.
Yeah,
and
they got their ass kicked in that one, Farzy.
Yeah, Jalen's interception. I know, and look, I love Jalen, and I call him elite, and I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. Like, I think the world of this guy, but because I think he's that good, I grade him at that level. I don't pat him on the head like he's some project. Like, this guy's played in 2 Super Bowls. He's been the runner-up to the MVP award. He's won a Super Bowl MVP as well as the Super Bowl, obviously. Selfless player. Like, I love the guy. But that interception felt like 10 interceptions on one throw because he stared down his. First off, he looked at the coverage, saw outside coverage, still threw the out route, threw a bad ball to the out route, stared it down, and then also had AJ wide open in the back of the end zone. Like, that was just, he did not have a good game. That was one of the games this season, pretty much every game this season, all but the last one against the Vikings, where he only played well in 2 quarters. You can't do that. You can't, especially on a team like this right now. You got to be, as I like to say, Sills, you got to be the deal. When you're a quarterback like Jalen Hurts and you have the ability to get out of the pocket if there's pressure, extend plays, you got to keep your eyes downfield, just like he did on the 3rd and 13 to A.J. Brown against the Vikings, and you got to make plays happen. You got to be the deodorant when everything else stinks. And that's what I think Jalen Hurts has the ability to do. He had the ability to do it in the Giants game, didn't do it. Had a little bit more of an ability to do it in the Vikings game. He did do it. So, yes, they do win.
There you go. I mean, the king of the bald men. And, like, Xander took notes from what I understand. So
he better. Yeah, fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Don't be a coward. Fight the good fight. Wear a hat for a little bit, and then
I think he's fighting it right now. I think I see him showing that picture makes me know that he's debating right now whether or not he should just shave that bad puppy down right now.
Yeah, when push comes to shove, what we do what all bald men do, we write a letter to our Pope, Larry David. Larry David approves it, and then you shave your head, and that's how it goes.
See, this look at screw the good fight. I'm ready to go bald. Marzi, we will catch you again. Continue great success, brother. Thank you so much for always finding time.
Always a pleasure. See you, bud.
You got it. That is Marc Farzetta. Absolutely awesome, man.